Is the USA ruining manga? According to Ken Akamatsu, most popularly known for his work of Love Hina, it is. During the Manga Artist Mirari Conference last December, Ken Akamatsu was asked about the future of the manga industry. And he has some pretty interesting remarks, honestly. He believes that Japan's strength and its forte is its freedom of creativity. But he also believes that is currently at risk because of the Western push for political correctness. I just find this topic to be so interesting because, well, what he says is true. It's the reason why Japan's entertainment industry is so successful is because artists are able to create pieces of art. They're able to create work that have no boundaries. They can create whatever the hell they want without any sort of fear. And that's why you can get absolutely hilarious shows. You can get things that just feel so real. You can get such a diverse amount of content without any sort of social agenda or political message in there at all. Things like manga and anime, they're a business. I mean, yeah, they're an art, but they're also a business. And the business is to sell us entertainment. They're selling us emotions through a story. They're selling us joy from being entertained for a certain period of time. That's what they're selling. They're not trying to sell you some sort of message. They're not trying to sell some sort of agenda. They're selling you only entertainment. That's what makes it successful, is that you just get nothing but entertainment without any sort of this extra add-ons on there. It's like no GMOs. It's organic entertainment. And because of this, you get like some crazy stuff. Like, I mean, I was looking around to see some of the stuff that was criticized for this video because, I mean, obviously this is a bit of a heavier topic than I usually go on to. And this video is basically me sprinting across a tightrope between two skyscrapers, because if I mess up one little bit, yeah, I'm fucked. Well, so while I was doing like an ass ton of research for this video, I was trying to look for different animes or mangas that have received a lot of hate. I mean, obviously there's the ones that sexualize women. Those get a lot of hate because, well, they sexualize women. But some of the ones I found were kind of interesting, like Dragon Ball. People say that like it promotes toxic masculinity and that it like teaches men to like disrespect women. Nah, bitch, it's a story about big laser and buff strong man. Bro, what would we do in a world without Dragon Ball? That shit was, bro, the Broly movie was heat. Even Gintama, one of my personal favorite anime, has gotten under heat for sexism because Gintoki would sometimes say like, oh, you throw like a girl or whatever. And then there's that one scene, I don't know how far you are in it yet, I won't have any spoilers in here just so as you know, so just point that out there. But yeah, at one point there's this very robust person and they make a lot of pig jokes. A lot of pig jokes. And a lot of people can criticize that for saying fat shaming. But that's just ignorant because they're not looking at Japan's culture for it and where it's coming from, a cultural aspect, which I'll get to in a second. But it's very interesting because Japan is not the USA. Obviously. They have different standards for stuff. They think differently than us. They perceive things differently than us because that's their culture. They, like, well, here it might be okay to say one thing, you ain't gonna say it over there. Like the same thing, like in the UK, this is not a thing you want to do to people. Here in the USA, this is like peace, you know? I do it at the end of every video, but in the UK, yeah, that's the middle finger. But I digress though. I mean, there are just so many other animes that come out there, like Uzaki-chan. That was another one. Same thing with the manga. People were criticizing it for trying to push, unrealistic body expectations for women. It's anime, it's not real. Bro, I'll get more into it in a second, but anime is not made to be realistic. It's an exaggeration of reality that emphasizes attractive features for both male and female characters because well, we like looking at attractive things. And then things like Keijo, High School DxD, To Love Ru, I mean, do I even have to tell you why, fam? I mean, that's just, you know why they're getting hate. Anime and manga, at a core, at an artistic core, are meant to reflect reality. Not some sort of like fake reality. They're not meant to push anything. They're not meant to pretend like something doesn't exist. Like, for instance, like, sexual desires exist. That's a part of nature. It's why OnlyFans is so huge. We're all human. Men look like pretty women. We look at women sexually because, well, we want to do that. Because we have human desires. We're a species. We're just a very intelligent life form. Well, some of us are, but no, sorry. Jokes aside, though, like, we are, as a species, we have these sexual desires, and to pretend they don't exist is just stupid. It's blatantly obvious, and it sells. That's why people use it to, show stuff off. You remember the old GoDaddy ads from like 06 or something like that? Bro, they'd always end with like some sort of like girl about to strip, and then cuts off right there. See the rest on GoDaddy.com and go and buy yourself a domain while you're at it. It sells. There's a reason these things work. I mean, obviously you don't want to put that on primetime TV, which is why you don't see those ads anymore. But like, it's part of human nature. We have these desires. And the way that anime/manga capitalize on these desires is they emphasize features that we find attractive. Whether it's for the female characters, you've got those long legs, skinny waist, nice breasts, nice butt, cute face, big eyes. And for the male characters, you've got they're slender, they're muscular, they've got the perfectly cut jaw lines, and usually maybe like some sharper eyes or something like that. The reason they do this is because it's attractive. It's because it makes us more likely to watch their content, buy their product, and then give them money. This is a business. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone capitalizes on attractive features and desires to sell stuff. I mean, that's why you see supermodels and stuff like that. That's why you see basically just anything that involves attractive people being put out in the forefront to sell your product. The whole modeling industry is essentially what I just talked about, except with real people instead of drawings. Well, heavily photoshopped real people, but still real people. People keep talking about unrealistic body standards or whatever. Anime/manga is not the place to look at that because it's not real. If you want to complain about that, go ahead and complain about all the magazines that Photoshop women and Photoshop men and stuff like that. Because it's both ways, ladies and gentlemen. It's both ways. At least I'm like 99% sure. I am very positive that they Photoshop everything. I've only ever seen a video of them Photoshop women, but it was for a health class or whatever. Not because I'm just weird. Just putting that out there. But no, if you want to complain about, unrealistic body standards or whatever, go to that. Complain about that all you want because, yeah, they're making fake humans or whatever, or they're photoshopping real women or real men to look more attractive. Yeah, it sells. It works. It's the reason they do it. But don't go to anime/manga for it because it's not real. These are not real people, and they are not meant to be real. They're meant to look attractive. That's it. That is it. And on the topic of like sex selling and shit like that, I mean, like To Love Ru, High School DxD, Keijo, people complain about it because it's hypersexualizing women, it's misogyny. Nah, it's I want to see some titties. Is there something wrong with me wanting to see titties? I'm a man. I have sexual desires. That's that. Just as if you're a woman, you too have sexual desires. It is idiotic to pretend that you don't have them, because you do. I know for a fact that you do. To Love Ru, High School DxD are meant to capitalize on that and sell us a product. And it's successful because, well, we because we watched it. We bought the manga, we bought the anime, we bought the figurines. We do that because we're attracted. The characters are attractive, and we clicked on it, and they got money, and then we wanted more. Okay, that's enough on that topic. I want to move on because I could talk about the topic for a long time. That's definitely by far the biggest complaint that anime slash manga gets when talking about like political correctness and stuff like that. Because, well, you know, people say that it hypersexualizes women or objectifies them. But, anyways, on to the next part though, because we talked about a few different things earlier as well. We talked about, you know, like, I thought I was going to come back to like the whole fat thing in Japan and stuff like that. You can also talk about gender roles and all this other stuff. And so let's go into it now, because to do that, we got to understand Japan. Japan as a country, and Japan as a culture. So to understand Japan, we should probably first look at who lives there. And well, you know, you could just say, oh, the Japanese. Well, it's a bit more specific than that. It's 97.8% Japanese. It's basically mainly, and by a very large amount, mainly Japanese. Which means that most cultures there are just the Japanese culture. There's not a lot of outside influence. I mean, yeah, there's, you know, Christianity came in there at some point. You've got like, what, a whole 10 Japanese Christians or whatever. You've got Chinese influence and all this other stuff. And of course, you know, we're in a global society, so now people, all sorts of cultures are crossed. But whatever, I'm digressing. It is 97.8% Japanese. That is a lot. In comparison to like the US, where you'll see people of all sorts of ethnicities around. You'll see white, Hispanic, black, Asian, all around everywhere pretty much. Apart from like maybe a few places that could be more white or more Hispanic or whatever. But usually you'll find a blend of all these different races and ethnicities and cultures mixed together. And that's kind of what the US is. At least in a lot of areas, especially cities. But in Japan, you're not going to find a lot of people who are of different cultures other than Japanese. You'll find tourists there who will be different. You'll find maybe a few people there living on business, or a few like military people there, whatever. But that's it. Other than that, you're basically looking at just Japanese. You're looking at Shintoism, Buddhism. Those are their religions. Done. That's Japan's ethnicity culture. It's very monochromatic, especially in comparison to places like the US, UK, and all the other areas. So they have a very strong culture then. They celebrate their rich culture. And I did a whole research project on this for one of my classes, because I had to. It was actually really interesting, not gonna lie. I really enjoyed it. But Japan they have a very rich culture, and they celebrate it. They are very, very proud of their culture. And with that does come traditional gender roles and stuff like that as well. Japan is a lot more, they celebrate those roles a lot more compared to like the US or the UK and the other Western countries. Typically, you know, here, you know, we're all like, oh yeah, we want to support women to be independent and stuff like that. And that's great. That's fantastic. But at the same time, we've kind of also, in a way, we've somewhat tried to demonize being a stay-at-home wife. Well, in Japan, I'm pretty sure the word for that is shufu, if I remember correctly. It's such a big thing. It's one of the words I learned in my first year of taking Japanese, which I was kind of shocked about. It was literally in our jobs unit when discussing. We had it was along up there with doctors, nurses, and engineers, and on that list was housewife, because, well, you know, in Japan that is more. It's more celebrated. It's a more respected role, because it's like, oh, your job now is taking care of the next, basically getting the next generation of people ready. It's your offspring, getting them ready to, you know, go into society, be a successful person, so on and so forth. Also, you know, taking care of a house is a lot of work. It's a lot. So Japan celebrates that a lot more than perhaps the US or UK does, at least from my personal observations. And so when, you know, saying like anime slash manga, you know, emphasize traditional gender roles, well, yeah, they do, because Japan is as a culture, is much more accepting of those roles and celebrates them a lot more in comparison like the US or UK. And perhaps the most interesting, like by far the most interesting one, is when discussing overweight people. If you say you were a more rotund person, I was to come up to you and just say, hey, you are fat. You wouldn't like that, would you? It's not a very good thing, is it? You'd think I'm rude, you'd think I'm an asshole. But in Japan, it's actually considered a polite thing. That's because, in their eyes, when you call someone fat, you are looking out for their health. It means that you care about them and want them to become healthier. And are like, oh, maybe they haven't realized this yet, but they've got to start really focusing on their health again. Let me go and let them know. And that's how they do it. So, for instance, so in Gintama, I'm not, again, no spoilers, but when they were talking, they're making all like the pig jokes and stuff like that, that was, yeah, it was meant to be funny, but it's not, but compared to how we would, you know, in the US and UK would look at it, we would be like, yo, what the, that's kind of a little, I mean, I found it to be hilarious, but like, some more sensitive people would be like, hey, that's kind of offensive. But you gotta look at the culture that it comes from. To them, calling someone fat is not offensive. It's considered polite, and it's considered, you know, that you're looking out for their health and for their well-being. I found it to be so interesting. I actually love that a lot, and I think the US could use a lot more of that because we are very overweight. But now, I know that this was perhaps a very divisive video, because this is probably the most risky video that I have made on this channel. But I was asked to do this because of a long-time viewer of mine. The guy's been around for a long time on my channel. I swear, like the last 30 videos, he's been liked and commented basically every single one. Apart from the Pokemon one, because no one watches that. I'm aware, one day I'll cover that topic another time though. But all my anime / manga videos, he's basically on every single one of them commenting. He's been there since way back. And so, of course, when he asked me to look at a topic, I wanted to do it. And it happened to be such a fascinating topic. But I just want to say that was, yeah, it was a bit of a riskier video. But it's all meant, you know, for education. Also because, well, this is my opinion. And that's the beauty of the soul, is that I am allowed to have my own opinion, and you are allowed to have your opinion. And that's completely fine. You may want to try and change my opinion, just as this video is basically trying to change your opinion or bring this to your knowledge. And you're free to try and do that. I don't think you'll be successful, but you're free to do that. Also, I suggested because giving me more comments, boosts me up in the algorithm. Okay, no. Anyways, though, this was, I really wanted to do this video for a while, but it took a lot of time to do. I have another video come out on Friday, hopefully. I'm just finishing up the manga for that, so I should get that out, hopefully in time. But anyways, though, the last thing I really want to say on this topic is, I think that Ricky Gervais, I'm pretty sure that's his name, I'm pretty sure that he said it best. And if I don't say that name correctly, then Sumi will go and correct me. But at the end of the day, you're offended, and I found it funny. And that's why I'm happier. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I know that it was a bit of a heavier topic than usual and a bit of a longer video than usual. However, this is a pretty cool ass topic, honestly. And so I really wanted to give it the attention and the time that it deserves. Anyways, though, if you want to see my opinions on more things, I'd be more than happy to. I'd love to talk about more different topics and stuff like that. I even have some ideas of similar videos if you guys are interested in that, and all sorts of other stuff. But anyways, though, you know, feel free to comment if you have any ideas or things you want me to talk about or hear my opinions on. Tell me them. I will, like 99% of the time, come back and do them. I know I have a few that I've been sleeping on for a little bit, but that's just because of time constraints. So, but I'll get to them eventually. Working 2 jobs is a lot right now. But anyways, though, this has been Senpai Supreme. Some of my latest videos are popping up on the screen right now, so go and check them out. You know, I got anime reviews, manga reviews. I got a Pokemon Nuzlocke series. And I've got hoping to make some more videos like this at some point because, well, it was really fun to do. But anyways, though, go and check them out. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll enjoy. And I have a lot of videos planned for this month and next month. So, fingers crossed that we can all grow on this channel together. Anyways, though, this has been Senpai Supreme, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace.
Hi everyone, this is the Boatman. I hear you aren't subscribed to Senpai Supreme on YouTube.com. If you are a real epic gamer and kawaii weeb, you will subscribe right now.